Instead of spreading misinformation and disinformation about the last election, we should be trying to strengthen our democracy and make it easier for more people to vote in future elections.
Yeah. POTUS in the hizzy, everybody. Steve Pearson from Swing Left will join us talking about what they're doing to get out the vote in 2022 and 2024. Because, listen, let the orange lunatic suppress their vote. Let's not suppress ours.
I'm okay with that.
To urge them to keep fighting. Travis, I am not giving up on some sort of carve out for voting rights. Boy, I think we're getting closer. That's what we went through this exercise of. What is this now? The fourth time they've voted down, even beginning to talk about voting rights. So the next is they'll put the John Lewis Act up. If they continue, as Nancy Pelosi just said, they've gotten rid of the filibuster to put Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court
lifetime
for
appointments.
Life. Right.
Well, I think Hal said it in the Sex Liberal show this weekend. Do it like they did with Obamacare. Keep bringing this up for a vote and make the Republicans vote against it. Just make them vote over and over and over against this until we have to carve it out.
Cinema or whatever. Yes, wear them down. Wear them down. The president this weekend.
So we're at a turning point right now, both here in America and around the world, because there's a mood out there. We see it, right? There's a politics of meanness and division and conflict, of tribalism and cynicism. And that's one path. But the good news is there's another path where we pull together and we solve big problems and we rebuild our society in a way that gives more and more people a better life. And that's the choice we face.
Yeah, smile like the sun. Yeah. Barack Obama.
Cookies and freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He's still smelling of cookies and freedom.
Yes, he is.
Jeff Tiedrick, who I love on Twitter, says, "Listen up, stupids."
Okay.
Trump the businessman is a character he played on a TV show. Trump the actual human being is a malevolent moron who failed at every single venture except conning you. But you can't tell the difference is why America is now an all country. Thanks a lot. Exactly. Except two of these rioter, I don't know, organizers obviously have turned. And that's what this whole Rolling Stone story is about, and implicated several members of Congress, several members of the White House staff in this coup, in this insurrection. And so it's trust me, some of the people that were conned are waking up, and they specifically said we're pissed at Trump, right? Like what the actual
for not pardoning. Yeah.
Gosar promised them blanket pardon.
Right.
So, this was to be expected that they're going to turn finally and go, what the right? You sent us to do this, to riot, to stop the vote. This was the last piece of a plan that started a long time ago, not just at the Willard Hotel, but this plan to overturn a free and fair election. And this was just the last piece. Physically stop the vote.
Well, this makes me
what's her name? Real quick. Kelly Ward, the lunatic in Arizona. You know.
You point at me like I'm responsible for Kelly Ward.
You are responsible for all the lunatics in Arizona because you live there.
Yep.
And did right-wing radio there.
I did do right-wing radio there.
But she said during the riot, did she tweet at something? She's like, okay, Congress is out of session. Now that's what, this was somebody said that whatever Sidney Powell was quoted at that time, they didn't think Nancy Pelosi would still be alive. They were like, this was the point, is to physically stop this so Congress isn't in session and they could enact this thing that they had planned in all the states. To to send it back to the states. This is insane. The levels they went to.
Yesterday morning when Benny Thompson was on Face the Nation, he alluded to all these subpoenas and things that they were looking at.
Right.
And it was like, in my head, I'm thinking, they know a lot more than we really think that they know.
Yeah.
And then you read the Rolling Stone article and they go, this is why.
Holy crap.
Clever girl. Talk about clever girl.
Yes.
They are.
Yeah. Benny Thompson on the...
It's just interesting to note that a lot of people came to Washington by bus, by plane, by chartered vehicles. They stayed in hotels, motels, all of that. Somebody had to pay for it. And we want to look at whether or not the paying for that participation was legal.
They already know.
And whether or not it contributed to what occurred on January 6th.
I don't think he would float that. I
Yeah.
don't think he would float that
Yeah.
if he didn't have.
They
some
already
indication.
know.
Or perhaps a sitting Supreme Court justice's wife were not somehow involved in the funding of the January, and said justice, maybe we'll have some more openings than we think.
That too. Forgot about that one.
Yeah, get
Did
rid
the
of
Publix lady-
rapey for perjury as well.
Publix
Yes.
lady was
The Publix lady paid for a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Duty to Warn said history will speak to the cult, how easily they were gaslit, how they embraced the most flawed leader in cult history, how they rallied around grievance, rallied against their own interests, believed in obvious con, but the true disaster was a widespread normalization of a madman. That is it. That they still, what was it? Oh, Roy Blunt. It's just they will not just say this is a madman. And our party lost its way, and this election was not flawed in any way. I mean, he just said, "Oh, it was what it was." Is that how he said it?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah.
Was Election Day an insurrection?
I think the election was what it was. There's a process you go through that determines whether or not the early reports were the right reports, and we went through that process. And I'm of the view that the best thing that President Trump could do to help us win majorities in 2022 is talk about the future, and he can be an important part of this 22 effort. But I think better off to talk about the future than to focus on the past in every election.
This is what Rude Pundit just said. Condi Rice says, really? It's always we just move on when it is some unbelievable criminal malfeasance on the Republican side that we're just, let's just look at the future now.
Yeah.
What do you mean it was what it was? Say what it was. What Trump's head of cybersecurity, what Trump's attorney general, what Trump's head of the FBI said, it was the most secure, fair election in our history.
Luckily, Trump can't let it go. He will not stop talking about the past election, and that's going to keep the focus there.
Why is Condoleezza Rice so eager to move on? Is she involved in some way?
I don't know.
Has she paid for something?
Can we
I think
still
it's the Republican
prosecute her
party.
for 9/11? Okay, I'm just saying.
Well.
Now that we're bringing up stuff that
Okay.
lots of all crime is in the past, as I often say. Yes. Okay. Roy, move
Doesn't
on.
the party have to disavow the challenge to the election in order to, go forward?
I think President Biden and the Democrats are giving us plenty of things to talk about. We don't need to keep focusing on
But
the
Republicans
past.
are. Republicans keep talking about
Well,
the past.
I'm not.
And
I
incorrectly.
don't think many Republicans in the Senate are.
They are.
Yes, they are. They are, Blanche. They are. Do you mind if I call you Blanche? Okay.
I do.
He looks like a Blanche.
And this, you don't get to try to back yourself away from all of the people trying to launder their reputations now are driving me crazy, right? So this crazy Eastman, who is implicated 16 ways to Sunday, the coup memo lawyer, calls himself a hero now who talked Trump back from the ledge. How many people have tried to pitch themselves like this now, right? I'm the hero that saved you from even worse, right?
Sure, buddy.
A right-wing lawyer who wrote 2 notorious memos about how to overturn the legitimate Democratic presidential election now calls himself a white knight hero who talked Trump off the ledge from more radical action. What was he going to do? Invade Poland? Really? What else could have been worse?
I know. What's more radical?
John Eastman, who wrote the memos about how Pence could overturn the election, said, "Call me the white knight hero here," talking Trump down from a more aggressive position. He didn't specify what more aggressive position Trump was contemplating.